Hello, everyone. So it's been almost 2.5 months since I did a personal video. Yeah, the last one was like around Christmas week during all the present unwrappings during Christmas for DCG and the wins I got from Toriba. Just to update, the 10 package one is now a 9 package because one of the packages, the soap dispenser one, was not there, so they refunded me the money. So I have 9, but they still haven't shipped that out yet. It's kind of weird on that front. So I'm gonna be a little bit serious here. So if you see on the title on the bottom, it will say January 6, 2021. You already know what happened to it. Actually, everything happened to me on this case, but it doesn't involve the Capitol. So I want to discuss why I've been kind of absent on the personal video side of things for the past 2.5 months. I've been working with the current company the company I worked for almost 5 years at that time, and the hours have been fluctuating to me. So originally, when I started off with them 5 years ago, it was 24 hours, and I understand it was part time. So I totally get that. And then it bumped up to 32, and then I went back to 24, and then it went back to 16 last year, actually 2 years ago, for budgeting reasons. And then last year it was all over, so it was 16, 32, 24, 40 during the summer, and then went back to 32, and then 16. And then on January 5th, the day before, I got a message from my boss saying that we should talk about about my situation of it. So, and I realized that the person might fire me or cut my hours, lay off on me because they were losing money. I'm not gonna go into too much detail on that one. If you want to know, you can message me on that front. So what happened? So I called up everyone because I have a bunch of people networking in the DC area. So made a notice to everyone that I'm available. Do you have any open recruiting or sourcing positions? Since that's my main job, is in recruiting and sourcing. And I had a pretty good hits of it. I did get some phone interviews, but they never advanced to the second round, which is basically face-to-face or video interviews with the pandemic and such. So on January 6th, so on this day, so I had my meeting. After the staff meeting, I was meeting with my boss, and we discussed, and then she talked to me, and I kind of feared the worst of it. And it's not the worst. The worst one would have been I would have been fired or laid off, but my hours were cut to 8 hours. So basically doing admin and research work, and I knew then it was time to leave. But I didn't do it immediately because I didn't have a secondary position that can overcarry that one. I did have a second job, and they know about this, as an IT recruiter for a government contracting firm in the area. And it was just only commission based. So anyone that I submitted will be $50, and then if they get hired, I will get commission on that one. Some commission, not that the whole thing, since I'm just a sourcer and not a business development manager or the recruiter for the position. So yeah, so that was my main job I was working at. So and I knew I had to change. And then when I got those news, I was upset, frustrated, wondering what is going on. And then I saw in the news with what's going on with the Trump chicken rally, or on the same day, all those you saw all the pictures and such, and then hours later there was the riot, the insurrection at the Capitol, and at that moment I'm saying, this day has gone to shit. It went to shit. I apologize for my language, but it really did. It went to shit. So as I mentioned, I was looking for jobs, and I got some jobs that I went to for a phone interview and didn't do well. And I will admit I'm not the best interviewer, best interviewee, because I do get nervous, and I think I focus way too much on like what they think about me. I know I'm confident of it, but I'm not a corporate guy. I just do my job, and if they need something, I'll definitely do it. But I won't try to kiss up, like try to find the right note saying, "Oh, this person can do that. The person can you do this for the benefit of the company and such." So I'm not a person who can toe the company line. Just let me do the work, and then as a added bonus, if I can promote your company, I'll do that. That's how it works, because I think people need to have a personal branding, have their own, and your company that you're working for is a representative like of individualism, good individualism, and not like some cockamamie weird person type of thing. Yeah, so it was getting tight. So I was, as I mentioned, I was getting phone screen interviews, but didn't move on beyond that. And then actually last month was very crazy. So I was doing the job search, and then I had a couple of small projects I was dealing with on that front. So a few things happened on that month. The beginning of February, I actually find someone for a corporate architect, essentially a solutions architect, for this government contracting firm, and yeah, and that person got hired nearly within the month, and yeah, and I will get the commission later down like 90 days, so that's around May, and then another 90 days, so that's August. So that's good on that front. So I had some assurance to that. And then later on in the month in February, I had a bunch of job interviews. So actually, two of them I got. One of them was actually from a staffing firm who I think respected me and gave me all the information about what the company does. I should say organization. It's a nonprofit. The organization does, and gave me all the information to prepare for the interview. And then there was the second one I really admired. The company I really admired the most. I really would love to work with this company. So there was some conflict to it, and they were paying good money on this case. And then I got a LinkedIn message from someone in California that they're looking for sourcers, and they saw my profile, and I might have been a good fit for this position, knowing I'm a 1099 and such. So, but I kept my eyes open because I do know that I had to leave my current situation of it. So I took the message, and then we talked about that, and yeah, so I did a interview with their COO. It went pretty well, and then I had a sourcing assignment with them. It went pretty well, and they think I did pretty well as well, and they hired me at the time for a part-time position. And this one will likely replace the one that I was currently working at. So that was on my back burner. But I had two other jobs that I was still interviewing for. So the one I really liked, I really wanted the job. I really like it, but I knew when they mentioned about tech, like you'd be mostly doing tech jobs, it's likely I wasn't a good fit. It's that I can do the job. I have done tech jobs, but I think there have been a lot of better technical recruiters who have done this for a good amount of time, and I've done technical recruiting on and off for like 2 to 3 years in my 17-year span. It just happens. It's just circumstance. I wish I could have done more technical recruiting because I knew that's a hot spot, but it was hard to get into that field. But you have to go on your own on that front. That organization I knew would reject me, but I respected what they do and wanted to come back to it with a much better profile. As I mentioned, they mentioned to me that the job was mostly focused on tech jobs. They do other jobs like HR, marketing, communications, and others, but this was mostly a tech job. So namely someone who's basically a technical recruiter for the most part of it. So I was out of it. Now this other organization, the nonprofit, yeah, the staffing firm, the person who helped me guide it was very helpful. I had one of my best my best first interviews that I did in a long time. I felt very confident, and then I went to the second round, which is me and the team. And yeah, and I think I did pretty well of it. I had good communication, good rapport with the other two people who interviewed me. And but in the back of my mind, if they have someone better who can do it immediately and understand the international aspect of the job, I think they would take that person. And sure enough, I think what they told me was the truth. Is that they found someone who can do the job immediately. Now I can do the recruiting job. It's just to me, I might have to take some time to take acclimated to it. They hired the other person who was probably ready, and I wasn't necessarily upset by that because I knew I had the job I had with a startup in Silicon Valley. So yeah, so I didn't get the job, but I totally understand why they didn't choose me, and I totally agree with that aspect. So this actually brought me to a crossroads of some sort. So there has been a lot of debate of what a recruiter does and what a sourcer does these days. Sometimes, like for the sourcer, they just find the candidate and just move it to the recruiter, and the recruiter does all the talking, all that stuff. Sometimes the sourcer does the sourcing plus like half of the recruiter. So basically, doing the phone screens, the interest of the job and such, and then move that to the recruiter. And this is where I think it gets a lot trickier. So I realized like for contract recruiting, they need someone immediately. I have the experience. I've done recruiting and sourcing for 17 years. I do, and I've been purely sourcing for the last 7 years. So I know I can do recruiting. It's just that I just didn't have the moments or the opportunity to do that because of circumstances. Sometimes under my control, and then what was going on to it. I knew recruiting, I might take a long time to it, although I get the aspects of it. I truly am a sourcer. I can find information and such. And the reason, like, I was frustrated at my job at that time, when they reduced my hours from 16 to 8, is that I basically almost did everything for the organization. The sourcing, I helped out on the website, the marketing, the research of like events, like for people to use that to take advantage of it. I did a lot of things for them because we were a small staff. But at that time, I did get burned out because of the hours and what they're asking for. So because although it was an 8-hour schedule, all my work seemed like doubled or tripled that. So it wouldn't fit under the 8 hours. So it was very frustrating. So yeah, so I took I as I mentioned, I had in my back pocket the part-time job in Silicon Valley, and I told him I had to start 20 hours because I'm going to transition to your company, but I had to help out the current one I was at that time. So I resigned from my job 2 weeks ago, the one that reduced to 8 hours. Basically said my goodbyes and made that transition. And at the same time, I was helping my new company out on a couple of their positions on their front, like for 20 hours. And then I had another project, another startup in DC dealing with international development and helping them on that front. And then as an added bonus, I had someone who had no idea what to do with Facebook and how to search and such. I left my current company. I left the company I worked for 5 years. And as a goodbye gift, they actually sent me a goodbye lunch. It was a basic clay pot at Eastwind in Fairfax. It was very nice for them to give me a goodbye lunch to offer, and especially at this time because it was around 1 year ago this week actually that I went basically strict working from home because of this pandemic and such. So I do miss them. There are times I felt frustrated. But I think overall it was a good experience, and yeah, I wish them luck as for the company I used to work for. So going forth, so I will be working now. as of this month, I'll be working more 30-hour part-time for this startup in Silicon Valley, but it will be turned to a full-time, I won't say position, it's a contractor position. So it's a full-time contractor in April after Easter. So I will be working 30 hours, and then I'll be still working at the side gig at the IT consulting firm, and then I'm finishing out on the couple projects I'm doing with the one in international development, and then the guy who is not knowledgeable in tech. I'm gonna do something special this week because I haven't posted any videos in the past 2.5 months because I've been crazy busy with other stuff. I have done other stuff with TikTok. I had a secret TikTok until last Friday. I just announced it on my social channels, but I do have a TikTok channel just for fun at Claw by Claw. Hopefully, I just signed up for a vaccination in Fairfax County. Hopefully, I get it sooner than later, and hopefully to get out a little bit. But in the meantime, for this week, I'm going to do several videos. I'm going to do one video, and then one special topic that will have two videos, because we'll have two different topics in that media spectrum. But I'm going to do different videos each week just to tell my point of view, my viewpoints of what's going on in the world. You don't have to pay attention to it. It's just, I think, for you guys who've been following me for claw machine content, arcade content, I do that. I might do something, but it might be kind of pretentious. I might do something of the wins, because I had some pretty spectacular wins and pretty spectacular prizes. So I'll share that with you guys, and hopefully I can get that video of the 9-item thing I'm waiting on Toreba since October, because they need to pick that up, and I think Toreba's kind of sick on that. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I should have mentioned this. So I felt anxious. Anxiety, close to depression. I was close to depressed because I couldn't find a job, couldn't find any opportunities out there, and plus, I was working on an 8-hour job that's more likely that the work is 16 to 24 hours a week, and I felt frustrated, depressed. Well, I was sort of depressed. It's not like depression like we think about, like the chemicals, like we need to kill ourselves. Is there something wrong and such? But I felt kind of hopeless at the time. But during the middle of February, it kind of perked up a little bit, and I got my confidence back and such. But those two months were brutal for me. There will be frustration. There will be some type of anxiety and depression and frustration to it. And eventually, on my end, I knew it on my own. I had to do this myself. I can ask friends to find jobs if there are any opportunities out there, which I would have done. But eventually, it was on my end to basically get it done, which I did, and I'm thankful for the startup that's helping me for this. So, but there will be assistance. I'll put the information below, so you can take a look if you need any help. Yeah, look, I did it on my own. I could say God, I prayed, which I did, but I'm not gonna be bearing that to you. People have their own beliefs. People have their own viewpoints. Have their own system. But I never thought I was alone. I know I have a bunch of friends, although not here, because we're kind of stuck in our houses. But I know I had other friends to care about, and that I wasn't alone. And that's the part of the process, is that have joy. Joy involves happiness, sadness, frustration, depression, all that. But at the end of the day, the process should be joy.